a switch. The reason we have that is so that people can't accidentally start the engine while everything is running, because a gen this size, if you started with a load, you'll definitely hurt it.
Okay.
So we'll switch that down and we'll put that on. That is your isolator switch. Now your gen can start.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So before I start the gen, because this is a fountain, it can't start while plugged into shore power. Reason why, there's a transfer switch. So your all your systems works on 110 and 120 or 220, but it has a transfer over the 12 volt system. It's like a switch. So if you're going to put two loads on, or like a shore power and a gen, it's going to fight for the charger and it's going to trip both.
Okay.
So I'm going to plug them out and I'm going to switch off your ACs, and then we're going to start the gen.
Okay.
And then we can also run up the water maker. So all the breakers are inside the port engine compartment, which makes it relatively easy to find. So you don't have to worry about this. And as you looked yesterday, these are such nice engines. They're really cool to get down. So everything is right here. So I'm not a very French speaking guy, but monoblock means so that is all the top ones right over there. So your boat has 8 compressors. There's 1 for each cabin and 2 for the salon. So what So what we're gonna do is we're gonna switch off all these guys right here. Now you have no AC in the boat. You'll hear the water stop running. Now there's no water pumps. Yeah. Because obviously that's how your aircon cools.
Yeah.
Then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna plug out this little guy right here. This makes it now so that they don't fight for the battery charger. Don't touch that side, it bites. Okay, so let's go start the gen. I'm gonna let one of you start it, just so that you kind of get a feel for it, right? So in the manual it says that you can run 3 air cons while using the the water maker. I usually prefer you not using the same amount.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it back up in a sec. So hold the start button, just a quick push, you'll see it switches on.
Which one? Oh.
So right there, just a quick start, that's it. And now it's gonna switch on. You'll see there it's gonna say stopped over there in the corner. Now you're gonna hold the start button and you're gonna keep holding it. So you're gonna see it's gonna start saying, starting, overriding. Only when it says running, you can let the button go, because it's kind of preheating itself. If you let it go before it says running, it's just gonna switch right down.
Yeah. Running.
Perfect, and now it's up.
That's it.
Cool, and now your battery charge is switched on. Now you know your boat's charging. Now we can switch on all the ACs again. You just don't want to start the generator with all the ACs running. It's pretty bad for the gen to handle all that load.
Okay.
Cool. So let's go switch the ACs back on. And you can run 3 ACs while making water.
Okay.
This boat can handle it, where the previous boats couldn't. It's just too much load for the Jenny to handle. So what we can do is we're going to switch 3 ACs on, and then we're going to make water. So you can switch. So the first 3, that would be your salon, and it'll probably be 1 random cabin.
Okay.
So one of the first 3 you can switch on. Cool. All right. So we leave the rest off just to not overpower the gen, because this little guy is one of the strongest pumps. We try to give you a pretty good Rainman. A water maker does 45 gallons an hour. In clear water like Cooper, Norman, Virgin Gorda, especially like in the North Sound, you can make up to 65 gallons an hour, which is really good. You have a 248 gallon tank. It's pretty big. So if you do run it dry, it's going to take 3 to 4 hours to fill up. So just monitor that. Try and never let it go under 50, otherwise it just takes forever to fill it up. So I'm going to close this, but that's where your pump is, and that's your membranes, just so that you know where it is.
Okay.
On that little, you see there's a blue breaker in the top corner.
Yeah.
That is your water maker breaker. So if you had to overpower it, like let's say you forgot to put off your ACs, and you started it and it trips, that's where it's going to trip. Okay. It's going to trip on that little blue breaker, just so you know where it is.
Okay. Top right.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple one to see. We try to make it blue. There's only one other one. Now, this is the coolest little system. Very simple panel. Let me remove that so you guys don't bite. All right, so super simple. You just make sure that this valve is fully open, like counterclockwise. So when you start closing it, that means you're pushing pressure into the membranes, and that's when the reverse osmosis starts.
Okay.
So we make sure it's fully counterclockwise, nice and Loctite, and this is always on divert. You see there it says tank and divert. The reason why we start on divert is there is microorganisms in the membranes. when you start it on tank, it's going to go straight to your tank, and that microorganisms are going to go in there, and it's going to have like an eggy smell, like a sulfuric smell.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So that's why for the first few minutes we leave it on divert. That means it's pushing it overboard.
pushing it out, okay.
Yeah. So we hit
Close
this.
the plate.
Yeah. So we hit the on button, and you're already here. That's it started. Now
Okay.
we give it a moment. You see there, it'll be easier to see it in the dark, but there's a light and it's currently red.
Yeah.
If that turns green, that means your water is good.
Okay.
Right? So what we're gonna do is this. Now we're gonna start closing it. So I'm gonna start pushing pressure into the valve. You see there's light green and red, and at a 12 o'clock position there's dark green. That's where you want it to stabilize. That's a good pressure for the membranes to handle. So we start closing the valve. Now you see I'm building the pressure. And then once it reaches there, you might have to backpedal a bit because it is going to keep building pressure. So we just turn a little bit and there it stabilizes. Cool. And now we just give it a moment. It's still red. Give it a few minutes. And once that's telling you how much water it's making.
Okay.
So you see that side is liters and that's gallons. So you're doing 42, but that's because we're in pretty shitty marina.
Right.
It's full of oil in there. So
Yeah.
3 places you can't make water. Marina. I just have to show you how it works. That's why we're going to do it quick. So Marina, Anegada, and Joost van Dyke. Reason why those 2 spots is because it's so shallow and it's sandy. You're going to be picking up sand. This water pickup's right at the bottom of the kiln.
Okay.
So you're about 2 feet away from the bottom. You're going to pick up sand and it's going to bust the membranes.
Okay.
So right over there, it has turned green. So now what we do is just a quick changeover because there's a T valve inside there. So a quick changeover because if you go slow, there's nowhere for the pressure to go. It'll pop it right off. And then every time before you stop it, always go back to divert. Start opening the valve to release the pressure. And then when it's locked tight, you know it's good. Give it a second for the pump to cool down. And then you have off. But what I want you to do at every end of each cycle, just put it straight onto auto flush. The blue light will go on.
Auto flush,
And now
okay.
you're just cleaning the system. That you can do for like 5 or maybe 10 minutes. Give it a moment, have a beer, and then come put it on off. Otherwise, even if you forget it on auto flush, it's not a problem. It's just constantly cleaning it, which is really not a bad thing.
Okay.
Cool. You guys happy with that?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That's so easy.
No, that is pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna now switch off the ACs and then drop the generator, and then we'll put all the ACs back up on shore
Okay.
power so we can finish our.
Okay.